My husband went upstairs with our luggage, and I got that look from him that says, "Don't drink too much." And that really ticked me off. My husband can be the wine police sometimes, and it really irritates me. He can sit on a glass of wine all night. I so wish I could do that, but I just can't. And I thought, screw it, why not? Everybody else is drinking, so I had a glass of champagne. By the time my husband came down, I was on my second glass of champagne and having a great time. After a few hours, we sat down to eat with some colleagues, and my husband asked me to slow down my drinking. We had a massive argument at the table, and he stormed off and said he would get room service. And I don't remember much of after that, but I woke up at 4 a.m. to find myself lying next to my boss in his room. Yeah. I was horrified. I felt physically sick. I ran to the bathroom to vomit. I had the most awful panic attack and saw my marriage in ruins, my professional reputation in shreds. I just couldn't piece together what had happened. I snuck out of my boss's hotel room and made my way to our room. As I entered the room, all I could think about was how shameful I felt and how angry I was at myself, because the same old questions came up. Why do I do this to myself? And why do I keep doing this insane drinking that I know is self-destructive? How many more times am I going to repeat this?
I'll get back to Kylie's story in a moment. So if you are tired of the extra glass or two at night that you just can't seem to cut back on, or if you're a binge drinker and know that you just can't stop at 2 or 3 drinks and feel the need to drink that little bit more, this program is for you. You see, I'm not going to tell you to quit drinking. In fact, I'm going to suggest the opposite. I want you to drink while using my 7 Days to Drink Less program because you need to know it's working. If you avoid or stop drinking, how will you know it's working? So don't avoid any drinking situations. Trust you have an amazing mind that does truly know how to drink less. It just needs to learn how to do it. The program gets quick results. So if you're tired of waking up regularly with too many hangovers and feeling under par, keep listening. With a 97% success rate, practically everybody who buys this program has successfully reduced their regular habitual drinking. Most of these men and women have reported their reduction has been up to and beyond half of what they were drinking before. Here's what Rebecca Smith said in Psychology's magazine.
With a program to stick to, it's not as hard as I imagined. I have had just 5 small glasses of wine in the past 10 days, a huge improvement. I feel stronger and more accepting of my own current situation, so there was less of an internal struggle and less of a void to fill with drink. Alcohol is becoming a treat, not a habit.
Here's Liz Hoggard's story, who wrote about her experience using the 7 Days to Drink Less program as featured in the Daily Mail.
My skin was clearer and I slept better. By the end of the week, my usual total of 40 units is down to a more modest, for me, 21. And the brilliant thing, I haven't had to give up drinking completely.
Are you ready to create a better life where you drink less with ease and without the shame and the guilt? If you said yes, I am truly here to help you. So what happened to Kylie? Let's pick up the story where we left off and see what happens.
To my incredible relief, my husband was sound asleep, but my anxiety was still just way too high because the night before was like a Halloween jigsaw puzzle that wasn't complete, where I just couldn't find the important pieces. I stayed awake playing out all these different scary scenarios about the night before and how my husband would leave me. And one of the most awful things was my boss. I was hoping for a promotion. That morning was the longest morning of my life. I lay there so still, just waiting for my husband to wake, dreading the conversation I knew we were about to have. I rolled over towards him and gave him a big hug, hoping that would help. He woke and said my breath smelled like a drunk on a park bench. I started to cry as I profusely apologized, but he wasn't having any of it. He told me as soon as the wedding service was over that day, we were heading back to the city. He was silent all day, and even worse, my boss was ignoring me too. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die that day because I knew I had to do something about my drinking. I just couldn't put it off anymore. It was the most terrifying thought, imagining my life without my precious wine. I kept thinking to myself,